The role of the artist has changed throughout history. In the ancient world, artists came in the form of anonymous labourers, born to their lot in life. Their function was primarily to record history. By the turn of the 20th century, we saw endless possibilities in Fauvism, Expressionism, Cubism, Futurism. The artists reflecting themselves and their surroundings, describing life, shedding light on aspects that may be missed.
On June 28, 1914, Archduke Francis Ferdinand, heir to the Austrian throne, was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. On July 28th, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. On August 1st, Germany declared war on Russia. 2 days later, Austria and Germany declared war on France. Britain declared war on the Germans after they drove through neutral Belgium. Suddenly, all Europe was at war. Within 1 month of fighting, casualties reached a staggering 1 million people.
The war had not been going on very long before people began to realize that we have been swindled and misled. That this is not going to be some glorious, dramatic event that is going to solve all the problems of political and territorial that we've been looking at. That it is not necessarily their fault. We're not going to win this in a few months and solve all our problems. It is going to be gruesome. It is already gruesome, bloody, and seemingly without end.
What do you say when you cannot explain what has happened? Cannot find the words for the atrocities you have witnessed? How do you say something when there is nothing more to say?
The United States and Switzerland remained neutral, but Switzerland, because of its proximity, was by far the favorite destination for those fleeing the conflict. And the German-speaking city of Zurich was where most of those people gathered.
Philosopher, poet, cabaret performer Hugo Ball and performer, poet and mystic Emmy Hennings fled Germany for Zurich in 1915. Together they worked the cabaret scene, eventually starting a nightclub, the Cabaret Voltaire. Opening night was February the 5th, 1916, with a press release on February the 2nd. Cabaret Voltaire. Under this name, a group of young artists and writers has formed with the object of becoming a centre for artistic entertainment. The Cabaret Voltaire will be run on the principle of daily meetings where visiting artists will perform their music and poetry. The young artists of Zurich are invited to bring along their ideas and contributions. Those present on opening night included French-German Hans Arp, a painter who had turned to collage and wood carvings. Pretended to be mentally ill to avoid the draft. When asked to fill out a form by the army, he entered his date of birth in answer to every question, and then earnestly calculated the sum, poorly. The essence of sculpture must enter on tiptoe, as light as animal footprints on snow. Any work that is not rooted in myth and poetry, or that does not partake of the depth and essence of the universe, is merely a ghost. Soon silence will have passed into legend. Man has turned his back on silence. Day after day he invents machines and devices that increase noise and distract humanity from the essence of life, contemplation, meditation.
Regardez-moi bien. Je suis idiot. Je suis un farceur. Je suis un fumiste. Regardez-moi bien. Je suis laid. Mon visage n'a pas d'expression. Je suis petit. Je suis comme vous tous.
Romanian-Israeli architect Marcel Janko brought his masks, which recall Japanese or ancient Greek theatre. The masks informed Dada's visual aesthetic from the very first appearance of Cabaret Voltaire. The shock and awe they evoked in the audience, culminating in a mass brawl, which concluded the final Cabaret Voltaire in April 1919. Janko had a faith in a direct art, a magical, organic, and creative art like that of primitives. His architectural theories and modernist creations inspired the next generation of urban planners. 18 of his buildings are still standing in downtown Bucharest. So it was pretty much a crazy cabaret show. Phonetic poetry, simultaneous poetry, manifestos, singing, dancing. 3 people telling the same joke in a different language at the same time. Shock, provocation, parody, buffoonery, excess. Always with the audience playing its unsuspecting part in proceedings. Complete pandemonium. They were anti-bourgeois, anti-war, anti-art, anti-Dada, anti-everything. But why use my words when we can just look at some Tristan Tzara quotes, who was 19 when he first walked into Cabaret Voltaire on the opening night, having left Romania. Chance was embraced by many in the Dada movement. They were all here by chance. Any one of them could be dead. This dramatic reality of chance or luck could not be ignored, and it's no wonder that its power was evoked in the creation of artworks. Collage, the combination of various elements, became a unifying element, and it was at this time that photomontage was actually invented by Hannah Hock. Would have been pretty hard going in what was a overwhelmingly masculine movement. Up to that point, if you wanted to be an artist, you had to use appropriate art mediums, oil paint, panel or canvas, wood or stone for sculpting, but Dada rejected this idea, using all manner of art materials. Taking broken fragments and unifying them into a whole demonstrated art's potential to remake and reimagine a fractured world. German Kurt Schwitters served as a draftsman in the military, experimented with Cubism and Expressionist styles, before starting on collage and poetry. For his collage, he used discarded fragments that he found on the street. There was no talk of anti-art or death of art with Schwitters. On the contrary, every tram ticket, every envelope, cheese wrapper or cigar band, together with old shoes or shoelaces, wire, feathers, dishcloths, everything that had been thrown away, all this he loved and restored to an honoured place in life by means of his art. Rejected by Berlin Dada for being too bourgeois, he said, by gathering random stuff from your own immediate environment would create an accurate portrait of the self, the surroundings, and the culture of the time. Spreading to Berlin, Hanover, Paris, and Cologne, Dada fizzled out in Zurich by 1918. Dada emerged simultaneously and independently in New York with Francis Picabia and Marcel Duchamp. Duchamp rejected retinal art. He wanted art to serve the mind. Duchamp produced ready-mades. My idea was to choose an object that wouldn't attract me either by its beauty or its ugliness, to find a point of indifference in my looking at it. Duchamp rejected the notion of traditional materials and craft, saying that the idea is paramount. Conceptual art was born.